All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to T.I.N.T. There is no template. This is episode 20.
Hello.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Hello.
Sorry about the delay for this particular episode, but we're back, and I think we're better than ever.
It's tough to do a podcast when the world is ending.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit difficult.
Tiny bit hard when all of the world is falling apart.
But
we're here.
Yeah, we're here, and we're glad you're with us. And if you're not with us, then what are you doing?
Then you're against us.
Yeah. I think we should jump right into it. You have a really great story. And I enjoyed it from what you told me. You didn't tell me everything, but I want to hear this full tale of I don't know what you would call it. It's called a fiasco.
It's definitely a fiasco that turned into a riot. It's called 10-cent beer night.
Yeah.
And so a thing I think we would like to do going forward is to find, interesting stories and just read them out and react to them. Mm-hmm. And here's one of them that I thought should be.
You could read them yourselves and react to them, or you can watch us.
Well, read along with us and, not while you're driving, though. Don't read and drive.
No, just
that
listen.
Kills
just listen.
A lot of people. All right, let's get into it, man. Let's get right to 10-cent beer night. So, the date was June 4th, 1974. And 10-cent beer night was a promotion held by MLB's Cleveland Indians during a game against the Texas Rangers at Cleveland Stadium. So they're playing in Cleveland.
You kind of know that this is the kind of thing that would happen in Cleveland.
So if you just, without even knowing what's going on, if you just heard, at a ball game in 1974, they had 10-cent beer night, how do you think that's going to go?
Well, I wouldn't know. I'd be like, well, is 10 cents a lot of money for a beer or a little money for a beer in 1970? For all I know, beers were a penny, and
well, I'll tell you what they were. I tell you,
$35.
They were $40. Beers in 1974 were 65 cents.
Yeah, that is
today
a lot lower.
They're $65 for a pint of beer.
No, but let's say we had a place where the beers were $6.50 or even $7. This would be the equivalent of $1 beer. So I don't know about you, but
I would get crazy.
Yeah, I'd go heavy on that.
I'd take $20 and get nuts. And you know what? People during this 10-cent beer night, they took $20 and got real nuts. Yeah. All right, so the thing is, people were just like, all right, because Cleveland sucked at the time.
Well, at least now they have a reason to go to the park, right?
Maybe they still do. But whatever, we're in Chicago, and that's not for us to say. We love everybody who watches the show. Cleveland, go get them. So they weren't getting the fans in, and somebody was just like, we need to have a 10-cent beer night. That'll get people in. And it just so happened that they were playing the Texas Rangers. And the quick little backstory here is that the week, 6 days before, they played in Texas and had a damn bench clearing brawl. Okay.
Yikes. Yeah.
Okay. So the week before, they had a bench clearing brawl, and then they asked the Rangers manager, Billy Martin, they're like, hey, you're going to Cleveland for 10-cent beer night. You need to bring some armor, or what's up, man? And he's like, ain't nobody going to that game. They could go off.
Yeah.
Right? So then, people were pissed. And then they had like billboards and stuff like, it's 10-cent beer night, get crazy for anything, like be ready for anything. That was on billboards. So that was the setup for this. They all started fighting each other. They were throwing stuff at the Cleveland Indians in Texas. They were throwing like fruit and cabbage or like whatever they had, you know what I mean?
Who brings a cabbage?
Well,
somebody who cares about the game is who?
That's who. If you bring a full head of cabbage, then I know you're a baseball fan.
Yeah, then you're a fan.
You're ready to enjoy the game of baseball. And also they were throwing, their own like third born. Like it wasn't the first or second.
No.
if you're the third born, you're going over. And so let's get into the game. So now we're here. 6 days after the brawl in Texas, Cleveland's 10-cent beer night promotion drew 25,000 people. I think they were averaging like 6,000 a game.
Yeah, that's an uptick. That's an uptick then.
So if I'm a Texas Ranger, I'm like,
yeah. Last time I was here, there was like, 9
8 people.
And yeah, and the team's mothers.
And nobody gave a shit. We just fought them last week, and now there's 25,000 people here.
Drunken fans.
For 10-cent beers.
Who are really mad at that brawl last time.
Especially because our fans were throwing cabbage at them and children. Jesus Christ. So the Rangers quickly took a 5-1 lead early on. And also, people go to the game early. And they're pre-gaming,
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine pre-gaming for 10-cent beers, dude?
No.
Me either.
Why would you?
I don't know. But I am certain that they did. You know what I mean? I'm confident that they went and they pre-gamed and they were feeling good and they're like, let's drink 800 beers. And so they took a 5-1 lead. The inebriated crowd grew more and more unruly, which...
Well, I can imagine because they show up early for the game. They go to the bars around, the stadium where it's like $1 a beer. And it's like, this is ridiculous.
This is a rip-off.
Crazy. What
this
a rip-off.
Rip-off.
And they show up to the stadium. Like, we're pissed. I was like, give us some beers.
For 10 cents.
Oh, okay.
Oh, by the way, the limit. So you think, 10-cent beer night, there's a limit.
Yeah.
The limit was 6 beers at a time.
That's
okay.
Sensible.
Not like 6 beers for the whole evening.
No, but it's difficult
6
to
beers
carry,
at a purchase.
You got to hold 3 beers in each hand, so that kind of makes sense.
I know that some fans were just like, come on. Thought it was gonna be 12.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I brought my kid. My kid's on my back.
Come on. He can hold 2.
I was going to load little Billy up with beers. 6 beers. They were probably outraged by that. What do you mean 6 beers? Yeah, I know it's going all night long, but freaking 6 beers? So throughout the game, the inebriated crowd grew more and more unruly. And early in the game, Cleveland's Leron Lee hit a line drive into the stomach of Rangers pitcher Ferguson Jenkins, after which Jenkins dropped to the ground.
Oof.
And then fans in the upper deck started cheering and then chanting, hit him again, harder, harder.
Those sound like baseball fans, yeah.
So a guy who's just any guy, he's not even from Texas, I'm sure. Right? I don't know where Ferguson Jenkins is from, but he gets hit with a line drive in his solar plexus.
Yikes.
He falls to the ground. He can't breathe. And everyone's like, more violence. Hurt him even more. So then after that, a woman ran out to the Indians' on-deck circle and flashed her breasts.
Hey, come on. That's classy.
So she's just full of class, runs out there and whoop, she shows, what she feels she needs to show at the time. And then a naked man sprinted to second base as Grieve hit his second home run of the game. So
did it count? Did his
the home run counted?
No,
but the guy trying to steal second, the naked guy did that did not count.
Didn't
no.
count. Didn't count.
But I like that it says that he sprinted.
Yeah.
He wasn't trotting.
No.
You know what I mean? He was on a mission to get to second base, naked as the day he was born, and I imagine they took him down.
Do you really want to tackle this naked guy who's sprinting and whose penis is just going flong?
Well, don't be crass, but yeah. We can all imagine what a naked man sprinting would be like. Not good.
No.
Not good to see. By the way, there's children at this game.
Yeah.
All right. And he goes and he runs to second base. I'm sure they take him down. 1 inning later, a father and son pair, I don't know how old they are, but a father and son ran into the outfield and then mooned the fans in the bleachers.
Good for them. See, right there, when you show up to a baseball game, there's about like 7 minutes of actual action where things happen.
By the way, I love baseball.
And then there's.
But if you tallied it up, it's probably about a half an hour of a 3-hour game where stuff is actually happening.
2.5 hours of pretty much nothing.
But if you know the game, stuff is always happening, Mark. Every pitch matters.
Yes. But, the two gentlemen who ran onto the field and mooned the crowd, I got to tell you, they probably, entertained that audience just as much as half of those strikes that were thrown.
Here's my question. Were they inspired by the woman showing her breasts? Were they inspired by the man who was wearing nothing, just running, sprinting to second with his wheelie out? Did that inspire them, or did they have that planned?
No, I think it inspired.
Or did the 10-cent beers inspire them?
I think the kid sees, it's like, well, look at that lady, she's showing her breasts, and then later it's like, look at that man, he ain't got any clothes on, and the dad's like, what can I do to top this?
I'm going to show you that I'm a good dad.
Yeah, I'm going to show. Come on, Billy.
We're showing our assholes.
To this crowd.
By the way, the majority of the crowd is your own fans.
Yeah.
And they went nuts when they saw it, right? They
loved it.
They loved it, dude. They're going nuts. People are showing their buttholes. A father and son. It's a family affair at this point.
Really? That's the family camaraderie, family, togetherness.
It's a feel-good story. So then as the game progresses, more fans start running onto the field and causing problems.
Yeah, that's not good.
I don't know what the security situation was, but it might have been a little lax.
Yeah, because they were probably drinking the same 10-cent beers, and there comes a point where it's just like,
the security guards were
really
wait, what?
Yeah.
10-cent beers? Oh, yeah, we're getting in on this too. I have $5. I'm going to get wasted. And I'm in charge of protecting the ball players.
The $5 that I'm going to make for this game, I'm investing directly into beer.
All beer. So, like I said, as the game progressed, more fans run onto the field, causing problems. Rangers first baseman Mike Hargrove was pelted with hot dogs and spit.
Hot dogs and spit?
And at one point was nearly struck by an empty gallon jug of Thunderbird. And now my question to you is, what the hell is Thunderbird?
I don't know what it is, but if it comes in a gallon jug, it must be delicious.
It sounds like gasoline. It sounds like gasoline for your head. You know what I mean? To just make you enraged.
What's it called again? The way, what?
Thunderbird.
Thunderbird. Wow.
Who brings a gallon? I'm guessing Thunderbird has alcohol.
Yeah.
They didn't have energy drinks at that point.
No.
I'm sure it wasn't tea.
But,
I'm pretty sure it was alcohol. So who brings a gallon of Thunderbird to 10-cent beer night? Hey, man, it's 10-cent beer night. I think you're good.
Yeah,
no, dude. We need that gallon of Thunderbird.
I think it was the
to
father's
really
son.
Kick shit off.
The son's like, should I get this liter of Thunderbird? Dad's like,
But it's 10-cent beer night.
Yeah. I need a gallon.
We're not messing around, Billy. You're going to become a man tonight, Billy.
Can I ask you one question? What do you think that those toilets looked like? That bathroom looked like?
That's a good question. And that's a question that I don't want an answer to.
Oh, my God. Because there must have been a line.
Listen, I can tell you what bathrooms look like in the year 2020. When we talk on phones with each other, like the future. In 1974 on 10-cent beer night?
Yeah.
I bet you human beings were just laid out, just being pissed on.
You kind of, as soon as you got to the bathroom door, you just unzipped and just let go.
You just, as soon as you hit the entrance, you just unzip, went, and never missed a strike. You just walked straight out. You didn't zip back up because you're going to be back in 5 minutes because you drank 30 beers. Because it's 10-cent beer night and you have a gallon of Thunderbird in you. Whatever that is. The bathrooms, dude.
Ugh.
Oh, somebody had to clean that.
Yeah. You know how much
How
urine
many people quit that day?
Yeah. I seriously, if someone was like, "Oh, you're going to have to clean this up," I would have quit right then and there. I'm sorry.
Mooned them.
Yeah.
I brought my son to work.
Yeah.
Jimmy, come in here.
We're
fucking mooning this guy. I ain't cleaning no urine-soaked man who's been lying there for 5 innings. Just getting beat down.
Oh, no.
So then later, this might be a bad move. The Rangers argued a call.
Wow.
Which somebody was called safe in a close play at third base. And then somebody got spiked with his cleats in the process and forced him to leave the game.
Any other night, that would have been fine. 10-cent beer night, you let it go.
Listen, know your audience.
Yeah.
You got to know your audience, man. When 800 naked people are running through the crowd, don't argue the call. Just try and make it out of there, man.
Just running through the crowd, just punching people.
And I never would say this, but throw the game. At
this point, yeah.
I never would even say this, no matter what the situation is, unless it's 10-cent beer night and everyone's naked.
You let it go.
Including the friggin' kids. So it's a safe or a close play at third base. Somebody got spiked. The Rangers' angry response to this call enraged Cleveland fans. Go figure. Who then began throwing objects onto the field. Someone tossed lit firecrackers into the Rangers' bullpen.
I think I came prepared right there. He's like, yeah, at some point, I'm going to need these firecrackers.
Let's go back for 1 second and talk about people throwing hot dogs and spit to a guy who was like on the mound.
Yeah, but they weren't throwing hot dogs and spit.
They were throwing hot dogs and spitting. But like the trajectory, like the force of that spit to where it became an issue that someone reported that.
Wow.
They were spitting. You know what I'm saying?
Long distance.
I mean, I could spit okay.
Yeah, but
I never made it a thing.
You can't spit across like an entire baseball field.
You can't spit like 30 yards like these people were.
I guess you can if you're full of 10-cent beer.
How much were those hot dogs, you think?
A nickel.
It's nickel hot dog day. We're getting nuts. All right. So, someone tossed a whole thing of firecrackers into the Rangers' bullpen. No, but that is funny to me, though, dude. They're trying to get loose and relax. And so it's like...
So there was a point in time where baseball players still made, a decent amount of money. Except you could go to a game, you could enjoy a game for, a reasonable amount of money, buy a hot dog for a reasonable price, maybe like, a couple, like $1 extra than it is.
$2.
Yeah. Nowadays you go there, the beers are like $15, the hot dogs are like $10. It's, a piece of bread and some meat, that's...
And some mustard.
God knows what that is. You have to pay like an arm and a leg to watch these millionaires hit a ball, right?
And your ass is way out there because all the other millionaires are the ones that have the close-up scenes.
Exactly.
So your spit's not getting to them.
And that sucks.
But this was a different time.
Yeah, this was a much better time.
This was the all or nothing days. Right? So then, so they threw firecrackers in the Rangers bullpen. They're trying to get loose. They're trying to relax. Right? This is crazy to me. In the bottom of the ninth, the Indians managed to rally, tying the game 5-5.
Unreal.
Right? So in the bottom of the ninth, they rally. Your home team. They come back, and they got Rusty Torres, which sounds like a sex move.
Yeah.
But he's a man. And he's on second base representing the potential winning run. However, with a crowd that had been drinking heavily for 9 innings straight, not to mention the pre-gaming, the situation finally came to a head.
What happened?
I'm just saying, you're there for the ball game.
Yeah.
You guys were losing. You were getting nuts. Yeah, maybe someone threw some titties out and somebody's asshole came out.
Yeah, but that's
okay, fine. But now you're in it.
Yeah,
because you got the winning run on second base.
Here's the thing,
and now it gets crazy.
Nobody's throwing hot dogs as you're up to bat. Like the other team, they're whipping hot dogs, spitting, throwing, empty gallon jugs.
Thunderbird.
With you, it's
Look, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. If they win, then okay, everybody, yay. But if they lose, then it's going to get freaking crazy, right?
Going to be violence.
But they could win. But they didn't wait to see either way.
Why? What happened?
Okay, because after the Indians had managed to tie the game, a 19-year-old fan named Terry Yurkic.
Oh, come on, Terry.
He runs onto the field and he attempts to steal Texas outfielder Jeff Burrows' cap.
Oh, man. You know what a hero he would have been if he had gotten away with it and just, grabbed the cap, ran away?
Oh, dude. Oh, man. But, if I was there, first of all, I probably would have left. It probably was pretty crazy in the stands.
Yeah.
Much less the shit they're doing on the field, right?
Uh-huh.
It probably was bananas in the stand. If I was a Texas fan, I never would have even went. But a lot of them probably got beat up that night. But anyways, you're waiting to see what's going to go on. Oh, man, this guy's on second. We might actually win the game. Here comes Terry Yurkic, and he goes to try and steal the dude's cap. Yeah. And then confronting the fan, Burrows, the Texas outfielder, tripped. And then thinking that Burrows had been attacked, Texas manager Billy Martin charges onto the field with his players right behind him, some of them wielding bats.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you blew it, Yurkic.
Billy Martin was ready to go, dude.
Yeah.
He was not playing around. So he runs onto the field. Some of his guys are wielding bats. A large number of intoxicated fans, some armed with knives, chains,
sure.
and clubs fashioned from portions of stadium seats that they had torn apart, surged onto the field. So Terry ignited this whole thing, dude. He runs out, tries to steal this dude's cap.
Yeah. He
slips. Billy Martin's like, it's on. And they run out with bats. And apparently the Indians fans had been making weapons this whole time.
Yeah. Fashioning them out of the seats, right?
I get the knives. I get making weapons out of the seats. Who's carrying chains? Who brought chains?
Somebody who came on a bicycle and he's like, you know what? I'll just leave it here.
I'm thinking like these big ass industrial chains. You think bicycle chains? No,
I don't know.
These chains. And how do you fight with chains? I don't know because it's a different time.
Just whip them.
You got to have them wrapped around you in some way, and then you hurl, and then you whip. Apparently, these guys knew what to do with chains. So now the fans are going on the field. Billy Martin's there. People start hurtling bottles from the stands, and then eventually 200 fans on the field surround the 25 Rangers with more fans coming.
Oh, Lord.
This is Game of Thrones, dude.
Yeah.
This is a battle. This is a battle.
How come you don't see baseball games that are this great nowadays?
Oh, man. I like baseball when it's played well. Mm-hmm. Bad baseball, I'll give you. Bad baseball sucks, dude.
But this is
good baseball
on a different level.
But this, I'll take this every time.
Yeah. I don't even care whether they're playing baseball or golf or tennis. If this is the outcome, I want to be there.
Into Game of Thrones. As long as it turns in Game of Thrones at the end. Yeah, so 200 fans with more fans coming are literally surrounding 25 Rangers with more fans coming. Now realizing that the Rangers' lives might be in danger, Cleveland manager Ken Aspromonte, I bet you I nailed that, ordered his players to grab bats and help the Rangers. Now that's
camaraderie.
Cool. That's camaraderie.
That's when you play on a team, when you that's good sportsmanship is what that is right there.
Grab your bats, boys.
Yeah.
We might have to crack our own fans' heads in.
They're about to murder the Texas Rangers.
That's how crazy it got, dude. That even the Indians players were willing to beat their own fans in the head, dude.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, you know?
Man. Okay, so they go out there, they grab him bats, and they're going to help the Rangers ready to attack their own team's fans. Well, right?
But that's what the coach must have said to the team. He's like, if those Texas Rangers get murdered, we're going to look really bad. So get out, grab your bats.
Somebody said that.
And we're going to have to beat these people to death.
Dude, really? Probably that's the only reason why anybody made it out alive. So the rioters, they're rioters now. They began throwing steel folding chairs. That's why they bolt them down now.
Yeah.
Because of this. And Slayer concerts.
And WWE.
No, those are still loose.
Oh, damn it.
Rioters began throwing steel folding chairs, and Cleveland relief pitcher Tom Hilgendorf, he gets hit in the head by his own fans with a steel chair. Hargrove, some dude, after subduing one rioter in a fist fight, he had to fight another dude on his way back to the Texas dugout. The two teams retreated off the field through the dugouts in groups with players protecting each other in standard 2x2 formation. I just threw in that last part.
Whatever it is. You know,
that's from Die Hard.
You know how you sometimes see movies where they're like in a bar and like one guy hits the other guy and then he accidentally hits another, and then you have like this barroom brawl?
Yeah.
I've never actually experienced that. Like, you know, I can understand like fighting somebody because they did something to you or because they said something to you or because they touched you or whatever. I don't understand. It's like, well, everybody else is fighting.
Did you, like, you never got nudged and you're like, well, I'm going to fucking hit this guy in the head. Yeah, well, that was this. That was this night.
Nice.
And so all right. So the two teams retreat. They go to their dugouts. They close and lock the doors. The crowd pulled up, stole the bases, and anything else they found because it's on. Rioters threw a vast array of objects, including cups, rocks. Where were the rocks at? Bottles, batteries from radios, of course, hot dogs, popcorn containers, and folding chairs.
Very nice.
What were the popcorn containers? Metal die cast back in the day?
I don't know. This is
they must have
best. This was the best game ever. Best baseball game ever.
Umpire crew chief Nestor Chalak, realizing that order would not be restored in a timely fashion, forfeits the game to Texas.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Again, read the crowd. Give it to the Indians, dude. All right? He gives it to Texas. And then he, too, was a victim of the rioters as one struck and cut his head with a part of a stadium seat. And his hand was cut by a thrown rock. Sorry, Nestor Chalak. This one's on you.
I mean, I don't blame him. I don't blame the fans. He should have just been like, hey,
he shouldn't have given it to anybody.
We'll finish the last inning tomorrow. Clearly this is, you know, as opposed to being like, well, I guess the Rangers win since you guys are a bunch of dicks.
He actually later called the fans uncontrollable beasts and stated that he'd never seen anything like what happened except in a zoo.
Oh.
Did you see this sort of thing in a zoo? I've never seen anything like this in any zoo I've ever been to. You know what? Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck that guy.
I don't know. But seriously, he must have gone to some zoo where they like minutes before gave all the animals PCP. And then because there is no way. Humans are so much worse than animals.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, if I was in the crowd, right, let's just say me, I'd be like taking part in none of this. I'd be about 20 beers in, right? But I would be like, this is crazy, right? But as soon as the dude gave the game to the Rangers, I'd be like, it's on, let's go. We're getting this dude. Fuck that guy. Call it a draw.
How is this not a draw?
That would have enraged me. The rioting continued for 20 minutes as Joe Tate and Herb Score called the live riot on the radio. Could you imagine that? If you're just driving in the car and they're like, oh my God, they're rioting now.
Yeah.
At a regular season baseball game. And then Tate said, oh, this is an absolute tragedy. The Cleveland Police Department finally comes in. They restore order, arresting 9 fans. Probably there was about 200 that were, could have been arrested. Indians players escorted the Rangers team to the bus. Then Cleveland manager Phil Segui blamed the umpires for losing control of the game.
Yeah, that's whose fault it was. It wasn't the guy at the meeting.
It had nothing to do with the 60 beers that everybody drank. It was the umpires.
No, but I love it that there was a guy, up in the offices, like, what about 10-cent beer night?
That's my favorite part.
That's the guy who doesn't get blamed for nothing. Nothing.
Somebody was like, 10-cent beer night, it'll bring the fans in. And I know one person was like, I don't know. And everybody was like, shut up, Phil.
Yeah. Shut up, Phil.
You know your wife cheats on you, Phil.
Yeah.
She's like, fine, 10-cent.
Yeah, whatever, 10-cent beer night, I guess.
And then this happens. He blames it on the umpires. And then, okay, so they say, Phil Segui, he's the manager. He blames it on the umpires. And then the Sporting News, the paper, wrote that Segui's perspective might have been different had he been in Chilak shoes in the midst of knife-wielding, bottle-throwing, chair-tossing, fist-swinging drunks. And then the American League president, Lee McPhail, commented, and I quote, "There was no question that beer played a part in the riot."
I think that sums it up right there. I think that's, yeah.
That's 10-cent beer night, guys.
That was the greatest, summary
10-cent beer night.
I don't know. But I think maybe beer had something to do with this.
Listen, I heard about this. I heard about that the umpires were terrible. I know that there was a lot of moving parts here. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of variables.
Could have been any of that.
But I'm just going to say that probably beer might have fueled this goddamn riot.
The fact that everybody in the crowd's blood alcohol level was at 1% probably had something to do with this. So yeah, that was I
just love that story, dude.
It's a fun story. It's fun.
I love that story.
I mean, you remember Disco Demolition, right? Well, I mean, you don't remember it, but we've heard about it.
Yeah.
Where they blew up all those disco records.
That was at Comiskey. Yeah.
And everybody just went nuts.
Things got nuts.
Yeah.
Listen.
How can you not expect, you're creating a giant explosion in the field, and then afterwards you're like, well, we're going to have a game after this.
You're burning shit. You're inciting a certain type of behavior. Mm-hmm. And shit got crazy.
It's a good story. I do want to bring up one thing before we wrap up tonight. A story
we
that
still
I
have
think
2 more topics.
Well, okay, 2 more topics.
We're gonna push, Mark.
All right. This is something that really caught my eye. We were watching, I was watching the documentary that was produced by Michael Moore about the environment.
Now hold on.
Called Planet of Humans.
Hold the phone. I have my issues with Michael Moore.
Mm-hmm.
For a few reasons.
Okay.
First and foremost.
All right.
You do Fahrenheit 9/11. You do all this 9/11 research. And you don't come up with any of the shit that actually really is true anomalies. You just push it to your own agenda. And I don't like you, Michael Moore, for several reasons. So I'm just going to say that. But you also showed me that video.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Moore doesn't make the video.
No,
he's just produces
a producer.
it.
He put in money for it. It has nothing to do with.
No, he didn't do the production or any of the thing. But and the movie was good.
It was a really good movie.
So fuck Michael Moore, but the movie was actually good.
Well, I like Michael Moore, but whatever.
Oh my god.
Anyways, I
gross.
think it was. I didn't say I want to have sex with Michael Moore. I said I like him as a human
that's
being.
what I thought you meant. That's my bad. My bad. I take it back. Continue.
I wonder how many times it took that guy with that horn to get that just right.
I like how he drags it out too. He could have done it fast.
No, like wah, 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 wah.
All right, so go on. My bad.
Anyways, so the documentary is about the fact that the environmental industry that's pretty much sprouted up around green technologies such as, well, what we're told are green technologies such as wind and solar, often take just as much, if not more, energy from burning fossil fuels, whether it's natural gas or coal, in order to keep these systems running. Because there are times that the wind is not working at night, you have no solar power. The storage for this energy is just not there. We don't have this kind of technology, and the batteries will wear out after about 10 years and pretty much become useless.
They make them to only last that amount of time.
Well, I don't know if they make them to only, they don't have the right technology for these batteries right now. Battery technology, if we had, good battery technology, you'd have, hovercrafts flying around like you have like those little drones, but they don't have the technology that can store this amount of battery power.
But the point is they tell you that, like, oh, we're going to have clean energy. We're not going to involve the fossil fuels. We're going to have solar power. We're going to have wind power. And it's all just like in a nice little package that everything is just going to be fine, right? We can do it perfectly and everything.
We'll have the same amount of energy.
It's going to have
be all green.
Yeah, it's going to be all
natural.
green. It's going to be all clean, except that, like you said, they still rely on those fossil fuels because when the wind stops blowing, when the sun's down, they can't afford to have those green, systems stop, because they would stop.
Yeah.
So they have to keep it moving at the level, and they're literally doing.
And so we're powering up and we're powering down because when the wind isn't blowing, or when you don't have, sunlight hitting your solar array, you don't have power. So you need some sort of a backup. And what you're doing is you're powering up and powering down. You're raising the amount of energy that's being produced and then lowering them. What that does is it creates inefficiency. And therefore, you're actually burning more coal than you would if you just kept it at a steady rate.
So they could have just left it alone.
Yeah,
and it would have been the same, but now it's worse. It would have
been the same thing. And then they talk about the stuff called biomass. So biomass was originally intended to be, leftover wood chips from the production of wooden products, and just like leftover remnants.
And this is supposed to be another source of clean energy.
It's supposed to be clean energy because the idea there is that you can use this wood, except you can plant another forest, and the forest will regrow and absorb the carbon.
That sounds nice.
Except that, it doesn't take a forest 1, 2, 3 years to grow. It takes 20, 30, 40 years to regrow. So when you cut down a forest, because that's what you're actually going to have to do, because there is not enough.
Well, that's what they are doing.
Wood chips. Yeah, there's not enough wood chips to burn.
So they didn't think it through?
No, they didn't think it through.
Or they just didn't give a shit.
Well, they realized, hey, there's a lot of money to be made here, because people are going to be like, oh, green energy? That's good.
They didn't give a shit. That makes more sense.
And in the end, what's happening is that these companies who originally were set up to protect the environment are actually in bed with the very people they're purporting to be against.
Can you believe it?
The Koch brothers, who provide the coal, who provide the, what is that? Not graphite. Well, graphite for different products, but the quartz. So you need quartz. You need to melt quartz at a very high temperature in order to create solar panels.
Well, they said it was supposed to be made out of sand, right?
Yeah, out of silicone. But that's
that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
No, lies.
And the kind of solar panels that we get have an efficiency compared to that of like NASA of about 8%. So those solar arrays they have in space or on Mars, they're nothing like the solar arrays that we have. You had this giant field of solar panels, and how much it provided enough power for 10 houses for a year? And it was like massive, right? It was like 2 football fields large.
10 houses. That's not even a neighborhood.
No.
That's a street.
It's ridiculous.
That's not even a street.
But that's
half a block.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And
more lies.
You know, my favorite part is when they were interviewing the guy and asking him, well, where did you get your money from? And he's like, well, we get a lot of sources. We get a lot of sources for money. And then she's like, well, the Rockefeller Foundation, the oil giant, they gave you money, right? And he's like, yeah, they invested some money early on. And you know, but I really don't know the details. And she's like, looking at a piece of paper, well, they also donated millions of dollars to you last year. And he's like, oh, they're a committed partner to green energy.
Yeah, they're a committed partner to everything they're opposed to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you're not on the fucking payroll. You clown. You fucking clown.
People.
What's the name of it again?
It was like 350 Energy or something.
No. What's the name of the documentary?
Oh, Planet of Humans.
Planet of Humans. Check that out, guys.
Humans. Planet
of the Humans.
Planet of the Apes.
You can find on YouTube, yeah?
No, they took it down from YouTube.
Go figure.
Because they said that there was some sort of copyrighted segment that was on there for a total of like 30 seconds, but the whole point was they gave this guy money, told him, hey, take them to court, let them, make sure they don't put this up. But you can find it online. It exists out there.
Just Google maybe, or DuckDuckGo, or Bing it even, because Google sucks.
What was that called? BitChute,
yeah.
We watched it on.
You can find it on BitChute. And so it should be noted, too, that the guy who's doing the movie was an environmentalist.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like
Big
all about this green energy and all this clean energy. And he was like, man, yeah, we got to do this. This sounds great, which it does. And then as soon as he was like looking into it, he's like, dude, you guys are all in bed with the fucking people who are doing the shit we're against.
Yeah, we're creating all the damage to the environment. Now, is it better now than it was like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s? It's a lot better. But the problem is the amount of carbon dioxide that's being put into the atmosphere, the amount of other greenhouse gases, things are going to get slowly warmer on this planet. All right? And that's going to create a huge change in the atmosphere depending on where you live. Certain places it's going to get drier. Certain places it's going to get wetter. Certain places there's going to be more just general energy in the atmosphere, creating more tornadoes, creating more hurricanes, creating more storms.
More pedophiles.
I don't know if that's...
It's just a part of nature that's because of this fossil fuel problem.
Fossil fuels.
Pushing pedophilia.
Why do you have to bring that up every single week? Anyways.
Because somebody dared me to do it.
Okay. No, but I think the main point of that story is not that we shouldn't search for alternative fuel sources, but the life that we live right now with the amount of energy we consume willy-nilly is going to, in the end, be a disaster.
At some point, we're going to have to...
That one... Remember
pay for it, or
we are going to pay for it, but
not us.
No, but our children's children.
And that's the thing. If you have children, if your children are going to have children, like, you want a clean place where you live.
At least a halfway habitable place.
You want a place where you live that's going to be clean. And what they did is they tricked us again into thinking, oh, this is the solution.
Yeah, they always have the solution.
They're all getting paid, and they're answering to the same masters.
It's the truth. And I remember the one part of it where they basically clear cut an entire forest on the side of a mountain to put up wind turbines, and then they were asked, well, what is this for? Oh, it's going to be heating a water park.
A water park. And you know what? I love water parks.
Who doesn't love water parks?
I actually do love water parks, but don't destroy a whole forest.
Yeah, I mean...
in the name of clean energy? This shit is backwards. This shit is upside down, dude.
It's kind of sad. I mean, and people.
It is sad.
People are fairly gullible, and they believe the stuff because they want to believe. They want to think that.
Here's why.
Here's
why.
What?
Because people in general are trusting, and they don't. And most people are inherently good, whether you talk about their intelligence level or not. Most people are inherently good, and they expect people in positions of power to also be that way, except that they are not. They're shitty.
No, that's how they got to those positions.
They're greedy, and they're only looking out for themselves.
How do you think?
And that's why people get duped, because they think they're like them, but they're not like them.
How do you think those people in power, those politicians, how do you think they got there? Because they were so good and so wonderful that everyone was
such
like,
a good character.
Or maybe because they did the bidding of those people who were giving them donations. I wonder which one it could be.
Or also, there's a thing called Jeffrey Epstein's Island. Where they get caught on film,
fun and fantasy
doing stuff
island
with underage kids, and now you have to answer to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Whoever his bosses are, which is
Bill Clinton and Hillary.
No,
Hillary Clinton.
I can't believe I'm blanking on the Mossad. Jesus Christ, what am I, nuts?
Okay, so
he worked for Mossad. Anyways, I don't know how we're going off the rails.
Mossad, when you come and you kill whoever is bad mouthing the Israeli secret services,
it's me.
It's this one.
Yeah, and remember,
I love you.
Remember, cartels. This guy was bad-mouthing an episode or two ago. So, listen, we all make our bed.
All right. Let's get to the final topic here, which is something that I was watching now for the past week, and it is something that I have to say is one of the few things that really affects me. The main story that got me was a story about a little girl. I think she was 9 or 10 years old, and she had some sort of illness. It was like a disease. I don't think it was terminal, but it was something that incapacitated her, right? And so she wrote to a televangelist. And the televangelist wrote back, if you send me $1,000, I will say the prayers for you and you will be healed.
Are you shitting me?
No. It's a true story.
Send me $1,000.
$1,000. So the girl, over the course of a year, got together $1,000.
Oh my God, dude.
Sent it to this man.
I'm getting mad, by the way.
And she waited. And nothing happened. And then she started writing letter after letter. Well, what happened is, have the prayers been said for me, blah, blah, blah. And she got a letter back from somebody, I don't know if it was actually the guy, that, we received your donation. We appreciate it, but you are probably just not praying hard enough. You have to pray harder because clearly God is not listening to you, because you were not doing the right thing. They didn't know how old she was. Right?
That's what they sent. They sent her a letter that said she wasn't praying hard enough.
So,
and she sent the money?
Yeah. And so she went into her backyard, took some gasoline and poured it all over herself and set herself on fire to prove to God that she was really committed.
Are you shitting me, dude? This is fucking real. Where did this happen?
I don't know where it happened, but you can
in this country?
Yeah, in this country. It was.
Are you shitting me, dude?
No, it's a true story. And so those people who were out there who claim to be faith healers or who claim to be psychics or whatever the case might be, those are just people. They have no special abilities. They have no special connections to the fifth dimension, to God, to anything. They are just humans like you. If they're asking you to give them money to be cured, then they have not been sent by God. Because if they were sent by God, they would not charge you anything for healing you. They would do it just because it is the right thing to do. You wouldn't first get, oh, well, yeah, we can do this. It's going to cost you $700. No. That's not how it would happen. You would be healed, and then maybe out of the goodness of your heart, you donate some money to this person because they did heal you, because the healing was real. It wouldn't be first, give us the money, and then we'll see what happens. If someone ever asks for money up front for some sort of miracle cure or some sort of psychic connection with a dead person, or can tell you where your dead relative is, right there, you should know that that person is a charlatan. They are just like you. They have no special abilities. They're not better than you. They're not smarter than you. All they are doing is conning you.
But not only that, they're a predator.
Yeah.
They're preying on you. And
on vulnerabilities you have, especially if,
because again, people are trusting, dude. They think that other people are like them, and they think they're trying to do their best to help everyone.
Sure.
And again, these people are fucking garbage. So, dude, that story pisses me off, dude. That girl killed herself, with fire.
Yeah, she burned herself to death. I told you the other story about like the parents who traveled around like 2,000 miles following this preacher with their son who was handicapped and could barely walk. He walked on crutches, and they would constantly put them at the back of the, whatever it was, church or hall or wherever they were doing because they didn't want them called up, because they saw that this child was severely handicapped. There was nothing they could do for him.
So what you're saying is their racket was, oh, you come here, we'll heal you.
Yeah.
And whatever your affliction is, we'll take care of it.
Exactly.
And obviously you're going to pay money. So then you got this jacked up ass kid who comes in, and they're like, put his ass way
back because we can't help him at all.
Because he's legitimately fucked up. And so then the people who come up that get healed, are they real? I would say no.
Some of them are real. Some of them are not real. But the ones who are real, their afflictions are mild. Do you understand what I mean? Like, you have a little bit of arthritis, and you get up on stage and you get that adrenaline rush, and you're like, oh my God, I don't feel my arthritis.
You got a touch of the vapors.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, here's an asthma pump. And then all of a sudden you're fucking good. Dude, this is disgusting shit, man.
Yeah, and yet it still happens. It still happens. But that's, sadly, that's the world we live in.
So, like, man, that's crazy, okay? Because there's so many people who are religious, right? They take solace in religion.
Sure.
For me, organized religion, it's not for me. But I get it, though. I get it. Looking into, Jesus Christ and his teachings and what it is to try and walk the path and be a good fucking person. But to me, it's like, that's inherent, though. No?
I mean, it might be to some people, but it might not be to all. If you're taught from an early age
that Lucifer is the right thing to do.
When you're brought up in a family where all they do is scam other people or steal from other people, and you learn that from like a young age, that might be something that you accept as just the way things are. And you could even be convinced that that's the way things are if your family is telling you.
Everybody gets brainwashed at a young age. Everybody.
I feel sympathy for those who are brainwashed more so than those who are totally in control of what they're doing and using their whatever it is, their so-called powers and influence to manipulate people.
Yeah, because that's the difference. That's the difference, right? So there's people who are, hey, listen, man, I was born and raised Catholic, okay? I had a big problem with it. I still do. And that's, I'm not, I went the atheist route. I went the spiritual route. That's where I'm at right now. But organized religion is not for me. But at the same time, I have family that like 95% of my family is Catholic. Okay. And there are many good people in there. and they're using these teachings to make their children be good people. That's cool. My problem is the motherfuckers at the top. These, at the top, you got these mega churches. These are greedy sons of bitches. These televangelists, dude, they're garbage. They don't care. They're just out for the fame, the notoriety, the wealth, the power, the influence. They don't give a shit. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. And it's sad.
It's a shame, dude, because good people fall into this trap. And it sucks. It sucks.
Well,
what was that thing, dude? What was that thing with the psychic? The psychic guy. No, not the psychic, but the guy who was busting out. The guy who said he had ESP powers.
Well, James Randi. James Randi did a lot of stuff where he...
Who's James Randi?
He was a magician, and then later he set up the James Randi Foundation, which was a skeptical foundation. So originally the prize was $1,000, and it was $10,000. Now it's $1 million if you can prove you actually have psychic powers.
True psychic powers?
Yeah, under test conditions. So he'll set up something, you say you can, predict what's in an envelope.
So if you claim to have these extra sensory powers.
Yeah, and you can
and prove it, he'll give you $1 million.
Yeah.
Who's cashed in?
No one.
This is my problem, okay? So this, man. Hey, I'm me, and I look at shit the way I do. So look, to me, the way they portray like people who are fortune tellers or psychics, and they look at shit, and they all get debunked, man. Anybody who's doing that shit is on TV. They're garbage. Does that mean that shit really isn't happening? I don't know. But I know that what they do is present stuff, make it look ridiculous to normal people, and be like, that's all garbage. While maybe it could actually be a thing. That's all I'm saying. But they present it as though it's so absurd to any thinking human.
Then why doesn't someone come forward and claim that $1 million?
That's a good question. How do we know that someone hasn't?
Because it would be announced. He announces every event that he does.
No. Yeah, but maybe someone did, and he was just like, Jesus Christ. Let's kill this motherfucker.
I seriously doubt it. He's like a 98-year-old.
Do you know that man? Do you know that man?
No, I don't know that man.
Okay, then.
So every person.
I'm just saying he could be just as much part of it as, those who claim to be the ones. It could still be a double psyop. Do you not understand that or no? Okay. Do you get that or no?
No, it's a double psyop is what it is.
What I'm saying is, do you get that or no?
No, it's a double psyop. I got you.
What I'm saying is, okay, so you got me.
Yeah. Okay,
good. Because you have to keep your mind open and notice that we're trying to be deceived at all times. Yep. He gets so butthurt every time I call out anything. I'm just saying, keep your mind open, man. Yeah. We don't know what the fuck is going on. We're trying to figure it out. We got a shitty ass podcast. Mm-hmm. And yet here we are, spitting as much truth as we know.
Not really. I mean, we're actually lying to you. Everything we say is a lie. We're paid to do this.
We're paid
not a lot of people
handsomely
to do this.
Yeah, we're actually rich.
We should be honest. Anyways, well, whatever. Next time. All right, let's just wrap this up.
He's seriously mad. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Episode 20. And we'll see you in episode 21. Right. He's for real pissed. Yeah. I'm Doug. He's Mark. Right. Hopefully we'll be cool by the next episode. Cool. Thanks, guys. Tell your friends. Come on, man. Right. We need more subscribers. All right, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Do we have to count this down?